Hey, what's up? It's Jason Lucchese, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm so excited that you are here with us, and I've got our special guest. I think we should probably just call him, something different than the special guest. He's just Mike the Myth. Mike, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, guys. How's everybody doing today?
I'm sure everybody over in YouTube land that's watching this is doing well. Hopefully everybody's safe and sound, especially with everything going on right now in the market. And that brings us up with our topic that we're going to be discussing today, and that is being able to get REOs direct from real estate agents. Now, we've had some folks in the past, especially when I've done some really extensive training, and I'll put the link below in the description area or in the comments section on a training that we did that was really in-depth, showing you some really great strategies using LinkedIn. But Mike, one of the things that we're seeing today is with this pandemic that's going on, with everything, with the upcoming election, we're seeing that individuals right now should probably start getting prepared for building those relationships with real estate agents, because nobody really knows what's going to be happening here with the market. But Mike, what are you kind of seeing like with the market that's happening right now?
I get asked this question a lot on the phone, especially when people are reaching out about what we're doing, not just with their own current investing with our tax delinquent strategy, but what we're training others to do in their markets with the tax delinquent strategy. And they're always, in fact, I spoke with somebody who was in another country, they're in Ukraine, asking about, hey, is there a wave? Is there something happening? Is there something coming in the United States? I feel like there's something coming. I did some investing years ago and I just feel like, and I'm like, well, like we talk about, I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know, but kind of the same thing that we saw 2009, 2010, 2011 with the short sales, seeing a lot of the same things. But I think we talked in another video where we kind of mentioned some of the differences where there's this illusion of a lot more government assistance, but it looks like there's going to be a huge wave of properties hitting the books for a lot of folks.
Well, one of the things is I wish when I was just getting started in 2008, one of the things I wish I would have definitely started was being able to connect with real estate agents that have these ins, this foot in the door per se that they have with banks, and they're able to get inventory of assets directly from these individuals, and they're able to put them on the market quickly. Now, somebody's asked this before, like, why would a real estate agent that's working directly with a bank want to work with an investor when they can make more money when the property's listed? Now, one of the things that you really have to think of here, and Mike and I walk a lot of properties. We're actually going to go and take a look at one tomorrow. Hopefully we'll do some video recording. This is an individual that's in a distressed position that could potentially hit the REO market, but it's a totally different one. We're going to give you a really cool outlook of what we do when we go and look at properties that are in distress mode. But one of the things that I wanted to bring up, here's why. Here is the list that you could think of when an agent has a property listed. What do agents want the most when they have a property listed? They want it to sell. Okay, they want it to sell as quickly as possible. So one of the things, Mike, right off the bat is the longer that property sits, the longer the bank has to be paying for attorney's fees. The longer that property sits, the more they have to pay in electric. They have to pay sometimes in water. Most of those properties have been through the procedures of having the whole entire property winterized. So most of the time there isn't water at that time, but there is going to be electric. So they have to keep that property maintained, especially if potential buyers are coming through. The other thing, you have to keep the property clean. A lot of banks aren't in the business of keeping those properties just at bay and not collecting any interest on those properties. So they also have to be paying property taxes. They have to pay the real estate commission. So the longer that property sits, it could potentially have some problems. And Mike, what's going on right now in our country? We're having a lot of rioters. We're having a lot of people vandalizing things. Do you think banks want to keep these properties when this is going on right now? And that could cost them tens of thousands of dollars.
They're going to be dumping these things, like crazy. They're just going to get rid of them because banks, first of all, they're not in the business of holding property, and they're certainly not in the business of holding rapidly depreciating assets.
Right. And you got to buy right. And one of the things is in the training that I did, and again, that's going to be in the comments section. You can watch that at any time that you want. But getting in with the real estate agents, they actually do like working with real estate investors because we could present a problem that they have. They have this problem and we're providing them a solution. So we're giving them a solution to a problem that they have, and that is listing this property. Because Mike, what could happen here is if that agent sells that property quickly, is that going to look good or bad to the bank?
Oh, it's going to look great to the bank. If the agent can just be like, oh yeah, I got rid of that property fast. Not only are they going to be excited about it, but they're going to be like, oh yeah, we've got a ton more. Let's get rid of all this stuff. And guess who that agent's going to go back to?
Yeah, exactly. They're going to continue to come back to us. And those banks love getting those properties off of their balance sheet as quickly as possible. Because the one thing that you have to think of when a bank has, let's just say, a few REOs, the non-accrual debt is on their balance sheet, what's going to happen from that standpoint is it's going to cap their lending capabilities. So it's really going to cause some sort of an issue, especially when it comes to being able to lend at maximum capacity. If they're unable to do that, that's going to cause some major issues. So the sooner that these properties can get liquidated to us as investors, the better for you. Now, what kind of discounts can you see right now? It depends on the property, depends on the location, because the banks do right off the bat, they'll put together a BPO, a broker price opinion, and they'll also be doing potentially an appraisal depending on the area, the property, and what properties are currently selling for. They will depend a lot of that information on the real estate agent. But one of the things that you need to be looking out for here is these agents. You don't want to start reaching out to agents that already have REOs listed, because more than likely they already have some individuals. You can still connect with them. I'm not saying that's not a good idea, because it still is. But if you're brand new to connecting with REO agents or real estate agents that have those connections with banks, the best thing to do at this point is make sure that you are putting together like a relationship with them and being able to let them know what you can do, what you can bring to the table, and how you can close quickly on these properties. So one of the things that we do, Mike, as well with closing on these properties, what essentially, as us as investors, what is allowing us to be able to close on these properties so fast?
Well, right now, what's allowing us to close on them quickly is there's a bunch of buyers that are looking for properties. It's tough right now if you go out there and look for a property, either a for sale by owner or something listed. It's tough. They sell in days, sometimes a couple of weeks, but they sell really fast. And, investors are trying to buy properties, but whether you're talking about going to a tax sale or communicating directly with somebody, they're all coming across the same situation where there's usually a multiple offer type of situation. Or like if you're going to the tax sale, you're competing with big pocket people that are coming in with, hundreds of thousands of dollars and buying multiple properties, and paying, probably more than it's worth just because they want inventory. So buyers, when you're able to bring them something that's like, hey, I've got something that nobody knows about, and I've got a kind of supply about this, pretty consistent, they get kind of excited because they don't have to worry about competing with these big budget people and spending thousands of dollars trying to find these gems, or being in these bidding wars on properties that, quite frankly, normally wouldn't be in that type of situation.
No, that's absolutely correct. And, it does become somewhat of an irritation, especially for buyers right now, because a lot of them can't compete with these, 8-figure and 9-figure hedge funds. And that's like on the low end, right? Because you've got other hedge funds out there that are just absolutely demolishing it. And one of the things that we're going to talk about in an upcoming video is how to get direct with hedge funds as well, because they are also liquidating. But we'll talk about that in another video. So some of the things that you could look out for, because we always get this question too, is like, what should I say to the real estate agent? So one of the big things, like if Mike and I were going and approaching a real estate agent about this, and they're an individual that's maybe brand new to maybe getting in contact with banks, that's another thing that you could do. As an individual that has solutions to problems, especially for agents that want to get more inventory, more product that they could list, one of the things that you could show them how to do is how to get direct with some of these banks. Now, a lot of the small mom and pop banks, they're not going to have a lot of inventory to begin with. So that might not be the best point to go across. You would want to help out at, some of these larger banks that are state banks and regional level banks are going to be the ones that want to work with these agents that can list them quickly for them and get those properties off their balance sheet, because that's the big thing here that you really have to pay attention to is the balance sheet, because once that bank is capped out, they're not making any more money, and banks are in the business of making money off of loans. So one of the big things, Mike, and let's go ahead and role play this one here, because a lot of individuals that we come across, they're like, well, I don't know what to say to these agents. So Mike's going to be the agent in this particular case, and I'll be Johnny Investor, and we'll go ahead and see how that works. So,
hey, Johnny, how's it going, buddy?
Oh, see, Mike's not playing the role correctly right off the bat, because I've never had an agent be that excited to talk to me right off the bat.
All right, let me get in character.
All right, so here I'm going to dive in. I'm going to call the agent, which is going to be Mike playing the role as Lincoln Hawk. So here we go. Ring, ring.
This is Lincoln.
Oh, is this Lincoln Hawk from the movie Over the Top?
Yeah, getting in my truck and I'm driving down to a match right now. What's up?
All right, so that obviously was a joke, but so if you haven't seen the movie Over the Top, Mike's dad's in that movie.
Hi, Dad.
So let's go ahead and continue on with the conversation. So Lincoln, how's everything going?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Good. Hey, I was giving you a call because I'm a real estate investor here in town. I'm sure you probably get lots of phone calls from other real estate investors. But one of the things that I want to call about is potential REO inventory. I definitely think it's going to be something that's going to be big here in the future. How are you kind of seeing the market as of right now, and maybe something like down the road, especially with people right now and huge mortgage delinquencies?
Well, we've got quite a few people going into forbearance that I'm seeing, and looks like we're gonna have quite a few properties falling behind, going into potential foreclosure situation here soon.
And one of the things, I'm glad you bring that up as well, Lincoln, is, I wanted to ask you, because I was seeing your profile, and I found your profile on Zillow, by the way, and I wanted to just give you a call and see, are you right now, are you working with real estate investors? Are you wanting to do anything with bank-owned properties at all? Because, that's something that we're looking for, and if that's something you're doing currently, we could also help you with being able to get you in contact with some other banks that would probably be wanting to liquidate some of their properties and have you list them.
I come across them from time to time. It's not something I'm actively seeking, but like I said, I'm starting to see more of them.
So Lincoln, as of right now, it's not something you're actively pursuing, but is it something that you see like something, patterns that are kind of coming similar to 2008? Is this something like you possibly would have an interest in? Because the banks, as of right now, they don't really want to work with us small investors, because I don't have a 9 figures proof of funds letter, but I could take down, a few properties at a time. We would just need somebody that we can work with, like you, that can get into the banks, get these properties listed, and we can make offers on those properties immediately.
Okay. Well, what were you thinking?
Yeah, so what we could do is we could set up like more of a formal time, and we could do like a Zoom if you want to. If you want to maybe go meet up, we can as well. I know some folks aren't doing that yet. Some folks are. So if you do want to go out to lunch, we can. If not, we could do a Zoom, and we could kind of like put together like a little plan of how we can attack this, because one of the things that's coming up is something probably bigger than 2008. And I don't have a crystal ball. I'm sure you don't either, Lincoln. If you do, please share it, because, I'd like to know what's going on in the future. So with that being said, Lincoln, would you want to set up a time we could talk and see if we could get something going here? We could schedule maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes to do like a Zoom call, or maybe meet up for lunch.
Yeah, sure, Jace. That's fine. I'll tell you what, I got some time later this week on Thursday. If you have a quick moment, we can do a Zoom meeting. And I'd like to hear more about what you're talking about. I am interested. Like I said, I come across a few of these, and I've done them, but it's not something I've actively pursued. But if you've got a good line on some properties or a way that we can get into that, absolutely.
All right. Well, no, that sounds good. So what I'll do is I'll send you an email and we'll go ahead and set everything up from there. Now, one of the things that, since that phone call's done with Mr. Lincoln Hawk.
Oh, excuse me. I don't think you said goodbye to me.
Oh, no, I did. I gave you a little wink since we're sitting across the table. So the call is done. And at this point, we do things a little bit differently since right now, not a lot of agents are getting the REO product, and they probably won't for a period of time. But getting in right now and building that relationship of trust is the biggest thing. And one of the biggest hurdles for a lot of investors is not being able to get in contact with folks. You get in contact with the folks. I've got the link in the first comment. I'm going to pin it, and you could check out that video of how we are getting direct with real estate agents using LinkedIn, and it's absolutely for free. You could get those folks in your area. So check that out. And also too, this is something that I would recommend and encourage you to do right now, because you could get in with the agents. It could also be a really big point for this to potentially turn into short sales as well. You could help them out from a short sale standpoint as well. But Mike, is there anything else with this video that you wanted to go ahead and share before we go ahead and wrap it up?
I would just say don't be afraid. Sometimes you're going to trip up on your words. If it's your first few phone calls, obviously you're going to probably say something dumb. On the other end of the phone, I've done it all the time, and I just kind of own it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I've been on the phone all day and fumbling through my words. What I meant to say was, and then you go back into it and you both have a laugh.
Yeah, because Mike says dumb things all the time. So we're always having a laugh at Mike.
I've learned from the best.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, man. Don't sue me.
Oh, yeah, don't. We just came up with Lincoln Hawk out of the blue. Definitely not from the movie Over the Top. But hey, if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you give us a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you get notified of brand new videos just like this. And we're going to be talking about some hedge fund stuff on the next videos. We also have some really cool giveaways in some of our upcoming videos. Also some free access to some of our training programs. So make sure you take a look out for that. Make sure you become a subscriber. And Mike, why don't you say goodbye to everybody, because they're all going to miss you.
I know you all miss me, but I'll see you on the next video, or an upcoming video.
Absolutely. We'll see you later. Take care. Bye now.